The recent case of a woman called Tang Hui has brought China's notorious Laojiao, or re-education through labour system, under the spotlight again. Tang, who's from Yongzhou in Hunan province, is the mother of a girl who was kidnapped 6 years ago, raped and then forced into prostitution when she was aged just 11 years old. By the time she was rescued at the end of 2006, she'd contracted venereal diseases, which meant that she can't have a child. Tang spent 6 long years fighting to have those responsible brought to justice. She claims that due to obstruction by the local police, the case wasn't heard until this year. On June the 5th, the Hunan Provincial Higher People's Court finally sentenced 2 of the prostitution ring's leaders to death. 4 others were given life sentences for rape and another was jailed for 15 years. However, after the ruling, Tang continued to petition to demand the death penalty for all 7 defendants, and she also called for an investigation into local police officers' roles and links to the affair. Earlier this month, the same police sent Tang to a re-education through labour camp. Now, that's a form of summary detention that actually requires no trial or court, and they sent her there for 18 months. However, Tang appealed. The news spread online, particularly on Weibo, China's microblogging platform, and in the ensuing uproar, the decision was reversed and Tang released, and there were also promises to investigate the local police. Official media, including the state news agency Xinhua and the People's Daily, also reported the case and criticised the Yongzhou police. And now the widely used re-education through labour system, which gives police the power to detain citizens without due process or court for up to 4 years, is coming under fire once again. Well, to see what's being said about it online, let's now join our researcher Julie Liu in the newsroom. Now, Julia, this case certainly has caused some outrage and a lot of questions about this whole re-education through labour system. But first, give us an idea of the online reaction to this particular case involving Tang Hui.
Okay, well, just to give you an idea of the strength of that reaction, if I type the name Tang Hui into the search bar on Weibo.com, you can see there are more than 1.5 million hits, which means related posts. And just taking a few of these comments as examples, you can get an idea of how deeply net users have been moved by the story of this mother. Well, this comment from a poster called Wang Yongqiang is a pretty typical one. In my view, Tang is an amazing woman, and in China, I believe there are thousands of other mothers like her. They may not have a high level of education, they may not have a rich family, but they're willing to sacrifice themselves for their children and dare to fight against the forces of evil. I really admire them. While some other net users focus their anger on the judiciary system that allowed this to happen. Well, this is a post from Weibo.com saying, "To be honest, I just felt chilled to the heart after seeing the news. How could this happen under the current judicial system? If the police and the current laws can't help the ordinary people, then what else can we rely on? It's terrifying." Well, in the opinion of this poster from Shandong, the decision to release is still not enough. And it says, what about the local police officer trying to help the prostitution ring's leader and other local officials who should bear the blame for Tang's detention? Will they also be punished for what they have done? Besides these, there are also some posters like Peng You Xinu, who note the role the media played in this case. This time, I want to thank all the media which reported on this case. Without their intervention, Tang would never have escaped the re-education through labour sentence. And this is what a poster called Lan Yang has to say about the affair on QQ.com. I strongly call for the abolishing of re-education through labour. We should have the freedom of to petition officials, and we shouldn't suffer treatment like this.
Now, Julia, that poster obviously upset about this system of imprisonment or detention and its use. Can you explain re-education through labour for our viewers in a little more detail, where it comes from and how it works?
Okay, sure. So it's basically a system of administrative detention used widely in China. It means the police can lock somebody up for 3 years and apply for an extra year's extension without having to go to court or have a trial. It was brought in mainly for political prisoners during Mao Zedong's anti-rightist campaigns in the late 50s. In theory, it's used against minor crimes such as petty theft, prostitution, and minor drug offenses, maybe vandalism, and so on. But in fact, it's often used to get rid of people who local authorities find a nuisance, like petitioners, political activists, some religious protesters, and so on. But one thing I must especially mention is that this system is usually run by the police rather than through the regular judiciary system. And there have been many accusations of abuse and even torture within the system. Well, the exact number of these camps isn't even clear. The government said that there were 190,000 people in detention in 2009, but many organizations put it far higher. And the China Daily newspaper mentioned 310 re-education through labor camps in 2007. Well, interestingly, a high-level Ministry of Justice official Wang Gongyi says the system is against both China's constitution and the criminal procedure law, as well as a UN human rights treaty China signed up to in the 1990s.
Right, so certainly a lot of people with questions about the use of such an arbitrary tool, especially by the police. Now, with this latest case involving Tong Wei, have there been more calls to do away with the system? What are you saying online about that?
Yes, there are. In fact, this is probably what is the hottest topic being discussed since this case hit the headlines. And from what I can see, a firm majority want the whole re-education through labor system scrapped. For example, this is what this poster Cai Fanghua, a commentator from the Beijing Youth Daily, says on Sohu.com. Although the re-education system is a form of administrative punishment, since it allows for long-term deprivation of personal freedom, it can be in fact more severe than the regular criminal punishment system. However, unlike the criminal justice system, the re-education system has no restrictions or proper supervision. So, just as in this case where the local police didn't allow Tang to defend herself and locked her away on their own words, well, in my view, the current re-education system is unacceptable. And this poster, Tianyu, also has other worries about the current system, saying, "To be honest, I don't think the current re-education system has any value in the end. As far as I'm concerned, if people are rich and have money, they'll never get caught. The people who get detained are all poor. This system just gives the police an excuse to earn profits." While this poster, Xiong Shi from QQ.com, is even more direct, saying, "Now, what does the central government tell us? We live in a country where there is rule of law. So does the re-education system belong to that law? If the answer is no, then it should obviously be abolished as soon as possible." Finally, this poster, Jie Ren Wei Yu, has a practical suggestion. If the re-education system can't be abolished straight away, then at least I think the local government should make some reforms to the system, at least make it clearer than it is now. And they should also ensure that the courts make any decisions rather than the police. Well, that would be a major improvement, I think.
Well, certainly some strong feelings over that case, and it seems the re-education through labour system in general. Thanks for looking into that for us, Julia. That was China Take researcher Julia Liu with online reaction to the case of petitioner Tang Hui, recently released from a re-education through labour camp sentence after an online outcry.